Hello, weary travelers, and welcome back to Recorder on the Wall. I'm your host, Drew.
I'm Katie.
I'm confused. Oh, wait, no, I'm Jeremy.
And apparently I've been demoted, so okay, I'm Peter.
No more Peter. Revolution.
Hey, you want the Papa Abbott chains and having to write the web code and edit the audio and all that other fun stuff? You can have it.
Don't give that responsibility to me. Nothing will get done.
Anyway, today on the podcast, we're looking at Legend of Luke, Book 1.
Hey, didn't we already cover this?
Hey!
No,
I'm
sort
referring
of.
it back to episode, was it 10? I should have looked that up beforehand. I am so
Hang on, I'll look it up right now.
Well, technically we covered this because, as we're going to find out, a lot of stuff in this is just recycled from Mossflower.
Yes.
And a few other books. Yeah. But yes, we're going
Welcome
to
to
last
the
book with
Legend of
Martin.
Deadbeat Dad. I mean Luke.
Oh, not inaccurate.
No.
Oh. Yeah, Luke, we don't actually see him in this first section, but, he's definitely a effect. Yeah, it was episode 10. Good eye, Katie. So.
Yes. Ha! That's funny.
Oh, I guess it is, isn't it?
Right. That was just right there.
So yes, when we last left Legend of Luke, we found out Luke is a terrible parent.
Yes.
Yep. He went out to he went out for cigarettes and never returned. I mean, he went out for sea rats and never returned.
Yes.
Well, you don't go on a nature walk on the ocean, so pleasure
Nature
cruise?
swim.
See, I think Mr. Squirrel is a better father than Luke.
He was around for longer.
Yeah, he kind of was. Wow, this is starting off really dark.
I'm pretty sure Farago is a better father than Luke. At least he spends quality time with his son.
We haven't gotten to him yet.
No, we haven't.
But funny you mention that. We actually have canon couples for the first time in this. What? I mean, not the first time we saw Mathias and Cornflower a long time ago, back in Matameo, but yeah. Chronologically, this is the first time we see canon couples.
Yeah, Ferdy and Cogs.
They're brothers!
Oh, that's gross, dude. This is, what do you think this is, Game of Thrones?
I mean, copyright.
Oh, what's
Okay.
that HBO? What's this cease and desist order? Oh.
I figure it's, if it's bad enough, it can't be copyrighted.
Yep.
Oh, that's okay. So yeah, but basically when we left off chronologically, yeah, Coder had fallen, and we're gonna build ourselves an abbey.
Yay!
Hooray!
And yeah, we actually see the abbey under construction in this book.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of cool that, people were, or Trimp, the hedgehog that we meet, who's the roving hedgehog, she's like, yeah, I've never heard of Redwall, and Ferdy and Cogs are like, oh, you won't be saying that when it's done, and that's kind of true. Like, in current times, everyone's heard of Redwall.
We'll see in the later books that Redwall starts getting a reputation with how many invasions they repel, that vermin have actually reason not to go there.
Yes.
It's cursed.
But that doesn't happen until about Tagarung, which is a little ways off.
Which is kind of funny, because they're like, oh yeah, Clooney the Scourge, okay, fair. And then he's like, Slagar the Cruel. I'm like, that was not an invasion. And then he's like, Farago the Assassin. I'm like, okay, yeah, that was not Redwall. Like, you guys are getting your history mixed up.
Yeah.
Also, there's something unique about this one. I think this is the only, timeline-wise, the only book that happens before Redwall that doesn't start off with a prologue of someone telling the story.
I noticed that too, yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, considering Book 2 technically is the backstory, and considering the events of what we're going to cover, I'm going to go with Book 1 is the prologue.
A giant prologue.
Biggest prologue ever.
Oh my god.
This is also notable because at least in this portion, at least Legend of Luke is odd, as we stated last time we covered, where it isn't one continuous story. It's a kind of a Martin finding his dad, hearing the story, and then going home. There isn't a big bad here, at least not one over all 3 books. So, and we don't actually see like things from the villain point of view, at least in this first portion.
Yeah.
And that's unusual for Jake's style, because normally, I mean, if you look at every other book we've covered so far, we do see portions from the villain POV.
Yeah, there's been a blank the blank in each one.
Yeah.
Looney the Scourge, Slagger the Cruel, Badring the Tyrant.
Yep.
Sarminia the Crazy. So
The Magnificent, excuse you.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Fabulous!
My lord. Yeah. This feels, there's another series by the Japanese author, Nisio Isin, and he wrote a extension of one of his books called Nisei Monogatari, and it was never supposed to be published. But his publishers were like, your fans will love this! And so they did, and it came out to great aplomb. This feels a lot like that. It feels like a little more self-indulgent. Like, Jake's just like, oh yeah, well, I do want to tell them about what happened to Luke, but considering the first section, we never even see Luke for 173 pages.
Mm-hmm.
It felt very formatted compared to the previous books, which are also, I mean, a little bit formatted, but it was like, they're like, you can't just have like 120 pages. He's like, why not? They're like, well, that's not a Redwall book. That's a novella. He's like, Martin and friends go on adventure.
Well, yeah, I doubt Jake wanted to skip the opportunity to write another golf story, because, as we said last time, this is his author avatar. So.
To me, it feels like he had the idea for another Martin Goff story, but didn't have enough to fill a book, and had the ideas for a Luke backstory, but also didn't have enough to fill a whole book, so he just mashed them together.
I would argue, like we were talking about last time with book 2, I would argue that he could have made that a full book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm also done with Gonf, because he named his kid Gauntlet.
I think that was just a nickname. Like, you know.
Well,
yeah, at the end of Mossflower, we find out he is Gonf, son of Gonf.
Well, Gonf 2. Junior, or whatever you want to call him.
Yes,
Gonf Junior.
I think Gauntlet is just I hope. I will say that I hope Gauntlet is just a nickname.
He's my little boy, Gauntlet. Rhymes with Gauntlet. Because you can wear him like a glove.
But, yeah, so we start off... tell me if this sounds familiar. We start off with a roving character.
Ding.
Rusted Nodre. Oh, no, sorry, it's not Rusted Nodre. It's Trimp the Roving Hedgehog. Okay. Okay.
Who arrives to tell Redwall the background story of Martin the Warrior. And we shall go... Oh, wait, never mind, that was Martin the Warrior.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to, we're gonna head to find out what really happened. Wait, I don't think we have a book like that. So.
Yeah, have a cliche meter.
Counter. If this were a video podcast, I'd put in a counter gag.
Just need a ding every time.
Yeah. Not impossible, but I think I'm too lazy when it comes to my editing for that. So.
That's A-okay.
Well, it does take a long time to edit these. So.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening to us who get the bright idea of starting your own podcast, more power to you. The field needs more good people. But understand, if you are doing bare minimum, it's going to for every hour of audio you record, expect to spend 2 on it. I do more than that, but I'm a little bit. I won't say perfectionist because I've let obvious things go in the past. But it's not just editing audio. It's building your own website. It's doing social media. It's getting your name out there, and it's a lot of work. There's a reason people like Markiplier on YouTube, or insert another person, or Serial, or insert another podcast here. This is a lot of freaking work, and catching lightning in a jar is not easy. We're lucky. We're very fortunate to have about the 50-person or so audience members that we have, and we really are grateful to you guys for listening to us talk about this every 2 weeks or so. But I'm also fine with the fact that we're not like the top one in iTunes.
We're famous.
Sorry, I'm just ranting about podcasting.
Well, there's plenty of stuff in this section of book to rant about, so let's get... I don't even think we've actually started the story.
No, okay, Trent makes it to Redwall. There we go.
Yeah, so Trimp arrives at Redwall, and, okay, as one of the few positives of this portion of the book, I'd like to say I like the fact that it's obviously been a long time since or at least a decent amount of time since the end of Mossflower, and the Abbey, literally has not been built in a day. Like, they're still working on it, and I like the fact that they're showcasing that it is a huge undertaking to create this building.
Yes, and that's my first inconsistency that I found. Trimp, when she meets Ferdy and Cogs, they're described as old hedgehogs. Okay, so they were babies when Martin was, say, in his 20s. So how old is Martin here?
50s. I would venture.
So
he's definitely graying.
Yeah. Okay. It's just confusing me because like later on when he meets Luke's friends, they're like, "Oh, you look so young." They're like, "Okay, if the baby hedgehogs are now old, that must mean Martin is old, right?"
Well, I didn't read them as old. I read them as adult.
Okay. I thought
they've grown up.
I thought the description said old, but
it did.
Okay.
So yeah, it is weird. Let me find. I can pull up. Yeah, it says 2 sturdy old hedgehogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you take old to be like 50s or 60s, and you take Martin to be at least 15 years older than them, then you're getting up into like the mid-70s for Martin. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
What's the
Well,
average,
obviously Martin's a Highlander.
Yeah.
But no, again, the aging is never really consistent in this series, and I'm not knocking it but some creatures seem to age a lot faster than others, which you'd expect. Real life mice only live about 2, maybe 3 years.
I can attest to this. I had a pet mouse that lasted about that.
And badgers seem to never die in this series. So,
no.
From old age.
They almost never die of natural causes.
There is one, but we're a long way off from that.
Which one?
Wait, natural causes
Frega.
for a badger.
Frega gets shot in the chest with an arrow. And dies like 2 days later.
I would say Bella would die of natural causes.
Yeah, Bella definitely dies of natural causes.
And she lasts all the way to end of Outcast of Redwall.
Yeah.
Yep. Actually, she lasts into the epilogue of Outcast of Redwall.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, everyone that is alive in this book is dead by the time she dies. So...
Which, it's also, that's kind of made it hard for me to get attached to any of the characters in this section. I'm like, well, I know they're not going to be in the next book. They're all going to be long dead by then.
So, anyway, Trip she runs into Ferdy and Cogs who take her to Redwall, and, yeah, it's under construction. We don't know how long it's been. I kind of gathered about 2 years from just kind of reading this. You guys can agree or disagree with that, but I think it's been about 2 years.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Sure.
And the reason I say this, one, Martin is not Martin. Redwall itself is, I wouldn't say it's complete, but it's definitely past 50% constructed, probably getting up there.
Yeah.
Based on what we're told, and based on the character we're going to talk about shortly, yeah, I would venture about 2 years. So, she.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say I do like the touch of the outer wall being completed before the main building. Like, it makes sense from a logical perspective. So this way they'd be protected from any oncoming attacks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very smart to think that those courtier soldiers that you disarmed and exiled, yeah, you promised to kill them, but they very well could come back. So,
I bet there's a fanfic about that somewhere.
Yep.
Well, we already said what Ashleg was up to, but that's
Yeah.
another story.
Well, shoot, when we did that fanfic episode, one of the ones I found was Badrang showing up at Redwall, so...
I'm not dead!
Zombie Badrang?
Yeah, pretty much. It was, hey, Martin, I'm not dead. And that was like the whole plot.
And based on what we hear from Martin shortly, he might not even know who Badrang is at that point.
Considering the amount of blows to the head and comas he's been in, I think he's lucky to remember who he is.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and address this right out, because
Trim.
What triggers Martin's memories here, Trimp sings this huge ballad about of names that Martin heard as a kid, and he's like, hey, you might know something about me.
And she's like, nope, just the song.
And he's like, well, I kind of can remember my childhood, but there's a lot missing because I've been beaten to death a few times.
Man,
and
I wish we...
Yeah, we made a joke about brain damage more than once with this character, but he outright admits it in his book. Yeah, all the woundings I've taken have messed with my memories, and I'm like, when I read that, I'm like, oh, I never remembered he said that.
Yeah,
I made that joke up.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you know what? They're lucky. They can ask Tim Ballista. Where's he? Oh,
Sir, not appearing in this book.
Oh yeah,
Sir, dead 6 feet under.
But I mean, that could make sense though, because I bet the life of an ore slave is pretty hard.
Yeah, and they said that he passed away during the first harsh winter, which that actually shows that building the abbey and the reason why they built the abbey is they couldn't handle the elements and things like that. Granted, it makes me wonder how come they didn't just live in Brockhall during that, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I've contradicted myself.
I would presume they lived in Brockhall. I would venture to say Katie's right here. Tim, he would have being an ore slave for that long would have aged him very fast.
Yeah.
And I don't think the fact that he dies in the middle of winter, makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's also writer's convenience because Tim could be like, hey, everything Martin just told you about his origin, yeah, he's lying.
Well, not everything. Well, actually, he wouldn't know about Martin's adventures in Martin the Warrior because, Tim Ballista's perspective, it's, you and your grandma just disappeared one day and we never found you again. Wait, what happened to your grandma?
I won't say it again because it's callous every time I do it.
Grandma's dead. So that's what I would see from Tim Ballista's perspective of actually, because all Martin said was, I stayed for the cliffs for a while and then left, and Tim Ballista would be like, yeah, you did leave, and we never saw you, and I could imagine Tim Ballista would have been taken as an ore slave during the time of Martin the Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we saw when we covered Luke Book 2, by the time Luke had swung the ship back, caves were abandoned. Now, we don't know what happened. Martin's obviously already gone at this point. But were they all taken as ore slaves? Did Tim choose to move them somewhere less obvious target?
Yeah, considering 2 ships had already shown up there at some point, so it's like, let's find a place that's not going to get us killed.
We generally
he was
don't
then promptly taken as an ore slave, so shows what he knows.
Yes.
Wow.
But, So, Trip walks into the Abbey, and we see Gomph, who is, marriage has done things for, he's definitely put on some weight. He's definitely described as a little fatter than he was.
And he was already kind of pudgy in Mossflower, I think.
Doesn't seem to slow him down much, though.
No?
No. But, yeah, you can definitely tell his thieving days are kind of over because there's no one to steal from. Yep. He's also a liar because it's pretty obvious that he, his wife, and his son, Gauntlet, are living at the Abbey, not St. Ninian's. So.
Where is he a liar?
He mentions...
He mentions that they live there from time to time. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll take that back then.
It's a vacation home.
Yes,
It's like, man, I hope it never turns to a den of evil in later times.
their
Except
vacation
for all the
home
vermin showing
10
up.
minutes away. Like, it doesn't seem like it's that far away. So it's like, yeah, we're sick of you guys. We're just going to go to our vacation home, which is like 10 minutes away.
Or, arguably, they just drop Gauntlet at daycare at the Abbey and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to hang out
And
with Martin for a while.
But yeah, not only do we have a canon couple, which, yeah, we've seen before, but they have a kid. So, owing to our family-friendly structure, they harvest the Cabbage Patch, right?
The stork came by.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
That is how it happens.
Yep. So after Martin hears a little bit about Luke from a song, which, don't worry, Martin, you're not the first person to turn emo after listening to a song about a deadbeat dad. He just kind of starts hanging off by himself, and they're like, something's wrong with Martin. Let's talk behind his back. What? Just ask him what's wrong. Instead they put together this whole thing of I wonder what could be wrong with him. Oh, he started acting like this after he heard that song. Maybe he wants to go see his dad. Yeah. Damn, man, that would have been so much easier if we would have just asked him these questions directly.
Well, doesn't he, not talk about his problems, though? Like, if they asked him if what was wrong, he'd be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong.
And they would have said, no 4-letter F words out of you, mister. This is a PG book.
Wait, what?
Fine. It's
Fine
a
is a
4-letter F.
Oh. Oh, where is my mind running?
I don't know.
I have to try so hard for this podcast to keep it PG.
I know, yeah, I do too.
Yeah, so instead of asking about his problems, they just kind of plan behind his back and welcome him in to congratulate him on being a great warrior. And then they say, now have fun on your trip. And he's like, what trip? What are you talking about? And they're like, well, we know you want to go see your dad, and all we have to go on is some old lyrics and your crappy memory, so have fun.
And Gollum's like, oh yeah, I'm going with him.
And Dinny's like, yeah, me too. I'm totally going. And Trim's like, well, I just arrived here after a long and perilous journey, but hey, I'll go with you guys too.
Yes.
I also want to point out that before they elected to decide to depart, his child-rearing skills have considerably improved. We're outright told Dibbins pretty much take him captive at one point, and he bears it all with actually a pretty good attitude about it.
Yeah.
So, instead of wanting to hug them around the neck like he did with the frickin' squidgies, but...
Well, to be fair, the Dibbins aren't enslaving and whipping him.
No, that's true.
And trying to break his back by making him carry them around, so... Yeah.
It's just what kids do.
Sure. It's
wow.
kids do. And so Martin and his group leave, and less than a day out, they run into a bunch of crazy weasels, because apparently everything about 10 feet away from Redwall is horrible death.
Tiny weasels.
Yes.
I might add.
Who have
Those
appeared.
squidgy weasels.
Who have appeared in publication order before.
Yeah, they show up in another book, right? The
Mariel
Foottrap?
Redwall.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
And Stable Queen, I believe.
Okay.
I just thought they were just an invention here just to give Martin something to do.
You said Mariel of Redwall, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I remembered hearing about... I couldn't remember if it was... which one it was. I was thinking of Long Patrol, because I remember they find a bunch of tree-bound psychos in that one, too.
That was Painted Ones.
Painted Ones. Okay.
Yep.
Which are from Metameo, so...
Yes.
Yep.
I don't think any of the villains in this book are any original thing. I think Jakes was like, okay, I need to create some danger. They just can't have a smooth journey because I've got a whole book to write, so I know I'll just recycle everything from previous books.
Oh, and recycle he does.
Yeah, so the Flitch-Eye weasels, at first when I was reading this, because I didn't remember they were connected to Mariel Redwall, but I was just like, Martin, why are you bothering? You already stated that they're no threat to Redwall. Why are you going out of your way to fight them? Oh, they've got a squirrel captive.
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
A baby squirrel.
Yep. That's dark.
Is he a baby?
They say he's like a toddler.
Yes.
Maybe I read that wrong because I thought, he's not clear, maybe just beyond Dibbin's stage, but then later he's described as a baby. Maybe I need to reread that. Hang on.
Well, apparently a baby hedgehog can age in 2 years, so, you know.
I will say Martin is one...
Here we go. The young squirrel who is little more than a Dibbin, but later he is described as a baby. So.
Okay.
Well, I mean...
Consistencies!
Well, I have a 6-year-old niece, and I still call her, like... I have a 6-year-old niece and a 2-year-old nephew, and I still call them the babies. So, I mean, it could be kind of a relative term.
This is true.
Also, the Flitch-Eye like drugs.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Knockout drugs.
I see dead people. This stuff is great.
No, it's not Salamander strain.
That hasn't been developed yet.
Yeah.
Well, no, because Stone Pod already did it, so yeah, it has.
Stoned paw.
Yeah. It's just, but it's some sort of knockout gas, and I guess the weasels are either immune to it or they're whatever.
Nope. I don't know, the Flitch-Eye kind of reminded me of
my creepy Uncle Tom.
No, I was going to say...
Wait, what?
I can't remember the actual names, but Squirrel House from Martin of Redwall. The
Gottschribe.
Gottschribe, yeah. They kind of reminded me of them, except, more bloodthirsty.
Yes.
And stoned instead of
instead of on E.
Yeah. I was going to call... I remember I called them a frat, but yeah.
Or drunk. I will say Martin is pretty brave, because he just waltzes into the camp, no weapon in his hands, and just starts making complete fools of the Flitch-Eye, and then pulls a trick of Gonf throwing his sword in so it looks like it appears out of magic, and then he frees the squirrel and he's like, see ya! And they all just kind of stand there like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got Return of the Jedi vibes where Luke tells R2 to throw his lightsaber. And it's a good thing Gonf is a good throw, because that could have ended very badly.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Like something out of Gallivant, the TV show.
Oop.
I'm okay.
I'm not okay. And, but then I was about to call them the Gottschribe.
The Flitch-Eye.
And so the Flitch-Eye then take off after him, and they're like, quick, let's go in the water. And Denny's like, well, I'm afraid of the water. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you'd be more afraid of a Flitch-Eye lance going through your gut.
Yeah.
Get in the water.
Okay. And then we get introduced to our not Cheek the Otter, because that's exactly what he is.
Chugger.
Yeah, Chugger. A.K.A. Chug.
What a name.
Chug, isn't that what the Gottschribe do?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
I mean, actually, to tell you the truth, the names in this one are not as silly as
they're not that bad. It's not like in Lord Brocktree. That was when it was starting to get a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fraggle Rock. I can't even remember what her actual name was.
Floater, and yeah.
That was the Martha Warrior, but yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
And Chugger's backstory. That's pretty dark. He was with Grandma. One day, Grandma wouldn't wake up, and then he was beaten and enslaved by the Flitch-Eye so they could eat him.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We meet the Queen of the Otters, which I like her. She's pretty cool.
Let's get to her in a second, but yeah, this is not. Is this the first time we've seen like mammal vermin actually? Oh yeah, we're going to eat you, kind of thing.
Yes. I mean, Rackety Tam happens, but that's not for a while.
Yeah.
So as far as I can remember, I think this is the first instance of that.
I think you're right, yeah.
But it was just like, oh, okay, they're going to eat him. That's not disturbing.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Dark.
The whole Flitcheye thing is kind of dark in the first place.
Yeah. And they meet a bunch of otters, and am I the one who doesn't get the joke of the otter kits stealing spoons?
I had the impression they were using them as paddles or something, like for their boats.
That was
I don't
my
know.
impression.
Okay.
Oh, we also have the Queen in the North. No, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a Game of Thrones joke. We have Garraway Bolo. Did I say that one right?
Yeah, I believe so. There's really no audio for this one. But
Oh, okay.
I think
I can mispronounce
you
everything.
can.
But yeah, Garraway Bolo, who is this? She's she's told she's the queen of an otter hole.
Which I don't think that happens in Redwall territory because all of the skippers have been male, and I think that's addressed in High Relane. Like, according to otter law, you can't have a female leader except for, other places.
This one.
Well, yes.
Yeah, and are they? Dumb question. Is this the River Moss they're walking around?
I don't know.
No idea. There's
It's
a part.
stream.
There's a part later on that actually reminded me of a part of Martin the Warrior, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but we'll get there when we get.
I'm seeing if there's a map. Usually there is.
Oh yeah.
There is a map, but they don't name the actual river.
Helpful.
I think this is. Yeah, compared to what we see in other maps, I think this is north of the River Moss, like a separate stream.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just called
I guess.
Stream.
Helpful.
Oh, it's
Unless
North
that's-
Fork Stream. There we go.
Yeah, there is
That was
that.
a real place.
Well,
Yeah, it
I mean,
looks
there was
like
some
it's-
part of me like,
It looks like the one they're on right now is perpendicular to the River Moss. Oh no, wait, it says that's a ditch. What?
yeah. Hang on,
I'm confused.
I'm looking at an actual Redwall map.
Oh, I was just looking at the one in the book.
Oh yeah, I'm comparing the two. Hang on.
Okay. Now, well, while you do that, Martin does cool sword tricks. Do 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 do.
Yes, he does. Because Goff goads him into it.
Yes.
And so I will say it was kind of pointless, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to.
Okay, now that's weird.
What?
I'm just Okay, look, consistency is not exactly the best thing when it comes to this series, but yeah, I'm not finding a consistent map of where the river runs, because part of what I was wondering, like, why aren't you taking your ship that you had in the last book and you refloated into a cargo barge for the help of the sandstone out to your dad's caves? So, unless they say it.
I'm going to go with
Again.
Jake's forgot about that ship. Is while we are reading this right after reading Mossflower, this book came, like 10 years after Mossflower was completed?
Probably.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with...
Okay, yeah.
for
It looks like, looks like that could have been. No, this is weird.
And
Okay,
as
I'm not
for
going to worry about this anymore.
As for the maps, I just think that animals are horrible cartographers.
There we go.
Yeah, we're
That
going to go
works.
with that. So, yeah. I'm not going to worry about it. So I was wondering why weren't they taking their ship, and, who knows?
Also, if they're just on a stream, maybe the ship wouldn't work.
I'll work with that.
Yeah,
So.
might be too big.
I know nothing about ships and sailing, so that works for me.
I'm just going by size, because it sounded like the ship was huge, and it was barely making its way up the River Moss, and if they're going on a smaller stream, then it probably wouldn't be practical to use a giant ship.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That really is. So yeah, Martin and his crew are saved by the Burrows otters, and after they take them back to the Holt with again group of otters, had their house, I guess. What happened to the Flitcheye following us? Oh, mass genocide. Wait, what?
Whatever. Yeah. They're Flitcheye. Nobody will miss them.
And that's literally kind of what we're told. Because Trimp is like, wait, you killed all of them? And she's like, yeah. I mean, do you know what they do to us if they get the chance?
They literally eat babies, okay? It's the worst thing.
I mean, I wasn't going to knock Burrow off the hero list here for when I did the character diagramming, but I was tempted. You just mass genocided 50 weasels.
Yeah, but they're Flitcheye, so who cares?
Oh, and the Flitcheye leader, he had a wife, and now they're both dead.
Oh well.
So we have a vermin couple.
And nothing of value was lost.
We had a vermin couple, and now they're both dead.
We have a vermin couple. Oh no, we had one.
Yeah.
Because they're dead.
Oh my god.
Super dead.
I'm sure we'll never see them again.
Except in Mariel Redwall, apparently. So some of them survived.
And Sable Queen.
Oh, okay. I haven't read Sable Queen yet.
Don't.
Well, we're going to have to.
Eventually.
Eventually, we're going to have
to. One thing I want to note, I'm going out of order with when normally you approach this thing. There is food porn, and it's glorious in this book, as always.
Oh,
but we actually have a recipe.
Oh my goodness. I wanted that so bad.
We have a recipe. We have a genuine recipe for the first time.
Yep.
In a book, anyway. There is a cookbook, but that's Golf actually says, hey, here's how you make a stew. He calls Bubblin' Bob's. And he just tells them outright how to make it.
Yep, and it sounds delicious, and I want it so bad.
Yeah.
This whole meal that they're describing, I'm like, okay, I need that, please. If I could go into a book just to eat something, I totally would.
So yes, and cool. It's kind of nice see a recipe inside of a book. And okay, I will call a couple of names here out. We know that Queen Below is but a couple of her otters have, I won't say silly names, but well, okay, I will. We have her kind of what's, I guess, second in command, Captain Barul. Okay, fine, I'm not gonna. But one otter is named Dado, and I'm sitting here really? Really?
I hope that's just her pet name for him, Daddy, but different.
Yeah. That's possible.
Daddy otter.
And since we're a family-friendly podcast, we're moving on.
No, I was under the impression that was actually her father.
Yeah.
Oh.
I believe that's who he is, yeah.
Oh, God. I am really, my mind is in bad places
I am not
today.
making a dirty joke.
I did like the line of... I did like their line of, how do you know they're all slain? And they go, because we asked them real nice, and any who said they wasn't got fixed up good and quick.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm not okay.
That's not dark at all. Children's book.
Again, they're Flitcheye. They won't be missed. And apparently they didn't miss any because they killed them all.
Yep.
Well, we'll see them later. And where were they in the Cotir War?
Eating babies in the woods, apparently.
Yes.
I meant the otters, but yeah.
Oh.
But you could, you could ask about the Flitcheye weasels, because I get the feeling Sarmenia would have hey, you're working for me now.
They probably would have been like, no, we want to eat you.
Knocked her out with the drugs.
Yep. That actually would have been a very helpful thing for Sarmenia to use in Mossflower.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, okay, that's why she didn't use them, because the book would have been over.
Actually, knowing the intelligence of her troops, they probably would have knocked themselves out.
That's true. Frog.
All right.
What's this? What's in this? Is it more jam? Oh, no, it's not. Okay.
lady, I've fallen asleep.
Hey, what does this jar say? The Sister May special.
Oh, yeah.
I can't fly. The strawberries are magic. Oh. And I got to point out, Martin is asked like what kind of father Luke was, and he's like, "Well, I can't remember." And I just kind of went, "I think that says it all right there."
Yeah, I thought about that too. I was going to bring that up if someone else didn't. Like, you don't want to know, Martin.
I don't remember my father. Doesn't that kind of say it right there, Martin?
He doesn't. Well, I would say he doesn't remember his mother, but she dies.
Granted, she died when he was like a baby, so
an infant. Yes.
Yeah.
Luke just was like, "Bye, son."
I think he has issues.
Luke's leaving is like Cats in the Cradle is playing in the background.
And he does remember his grandmother's name, but you could also make the argument he probably would have barely remembered her, especially after 2 beatings.
Yes.
Yeah. And, so then they leave the otters and go on their way, and we have more villains showing up and songs.
But
and
before we get to that, Martin's like, "Yeah, why is the stream damned?" And they're like, "Oh, we did that to create a slide for our little ones." What?
Like, Martin's like, "We did that as a part of war in the last book, and you guys are doing it just to make a little play area."
Well, I'm sure the babies appreciate it. Oh, that was the crash.
Okay.
Sorry, that was me throwing a bottle away.
Oh, okay. I was like, is everyone okay?
Another!
I didn't realize it was going to be that loud.
So yeah, the whole time Martin he is mostly, he's still the same guy, he's still friendly, he can definitely feel the guy love with Goff because they're best friends.
Aw. And it sounds like pretty close to Columbine as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
The closer they get to the northern caves, the more reserved he becomes.
The more emo he becomes, you mean?
Yep.
I didn't want to use that word, but yes. What else? And then, so they continue on. And then we get a mostly humorous routine of where the Martin and his crew, they kind of pull faces at a rat standing on the shore, and Rat does the same back, and then Trimp takes offense, and, okay, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, I forgot about this guy.
I forgot about this part, too.
There's so many villains that I'm just like, wait, Flitch-Eye painted one?
There are so many little villain groups.
Yeah. Apparently, Mossflower is like just a massive death trap. Like,
I get you could make the argument that for as evil as Sarmenia was and Kotir was, they kind of had an organizing effect on the local vermin. Now that she's not there to enforce her twisted version of law, it's anarchy.
It's Mad Max.
I was going to say, it's kind of like the Kingpin in Spider-Man. You put him away, and then all the little groups start popping up. Sorry, I've been playing the new Spider-Man game.
Nice.
It's really good. And that's actually what the plot is you capture the Kingpin, and he's like, now watch as the entire city gets taken over by mini-gangs.
Yeah, one of my favorite book series does that same effect. Outside Redwall, I mean. It's called The Dresden Files, and they mention... One of the things is mentioned, if we take out this mob boss, we're going to have 100 enemies instead of 1. Maybe we shouldn't.
Is that the mob boss that appears in books 1 and 2? That's the ones that I've read.
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
Okay, cool. I like that series. I'm just reading it slowly because job, life, work. But, yes.
Yeah. I like
it's kind of like blowing up an anthill, you know? You get rid of the big part, but then all the ants go flying everywhere.
Yes.
That's a weirdly specific metaphor.
Have you done this before, Jeremy?
I actually have not. No.
Anyway, we get Gearfang and his kind of brain-dead son, Riddick, who makes fun of Trimp, and Trimp makes fun of him, and they come to kill him, and our heroes hide, and then I don't know whether to laugh or actually feel sorry for this rat, because his dad kind of smacks him around, saying, why are you wasting our time? There's no one here.
This is
and
another...
we never hear from them again.
Another exemplary father.
The lesson was abuse the entire time.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the next major villain group are the Carrion Crows, because no one puts a bell on Chug.
I know, right? So he gets captured by crows, and then a bird whose name I totally forgot until I was looking back at my notes appears.
Krar Woodwatcher?
Something like that.
Woodwatcher. He's described as a goshawk, and I didn't mark him as a hero, like going to character mapping, but he's certainly an ally, so he's neutral. And I think he just likes fighting, because this guy just picks on anyone who threatens the main group, including this mess of crows who captured Chug, who are going to eat him. That sounds familiar.
I will say this, I just looked up pictures of what a goshawk is, because I didn't know, and that's a really cool-looking bird.
Nice.
Doing it.
Yeah, and so this goshawk just basically kicks the crow's butt. He humiliates their leader, but by tearing out his pin feathers so the guy can't fly, and he's like, "Hey Martin, here's your squirrel back."
Yep. I have to go now. My planet needs me. It's like there's so much, like, what purpose did this serve? Outside, also, am I noticed that like most of the songs in this section of the book are like over a page long?
Yes, there are many
I was
songs.
Given this is written after Metamayo and the Bonemaker, which we have yet to cover, a friendly ally bird is kind of a thing. So
yeah,
true.
Whether it's Strike Red Kite, Harry the Muse, or King What's His Face from Bellmaker, I don't remember.
McPherson.
Yeah, that's.
Or
it.
no, that's from Salamandstrom. Sorry.
Yeah.
King K. Rool.
King.
Confirmed in Smash Ultimate. What a great looking game. That's the game we're going to promote today.
That and Spider-Man.
So
never mind. Then they come across shrews, and because they're like, well, we need to get down this stream, and man, it's lucky we ran.
Has the swan happened yet?
Huh?
Has the swan happened yet? Because there was a swan.
Oh no, the swans after they meet.
Swans are back.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Is this Big Club? Because I don't think it is.
No,
no.
Some relation.
He died during the winter too.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's never said, but it's Logalog Firmo.
Maybe it's just another group of shrews.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think we've established that consistency is not this book's strong point.
No.
No, this is a clip show.
Yeah.
This, when you a TV show, when they to save money, especially in animation, they'll make a clip show. This is what this is.
This is more like the clip show of like the second episode of Clerks, where they just keep referring back to the previous one episode, because every single thing that happens in this book feels like it's just a reference to Mossflower. Because hey, look, they reached a stream they need to go down. Hey, look, there's conveniently Logalog to help them out.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not saying there are certainly weaker books in this series than others, and this is a strong candidate for that. This isn't bad.
No.
But it's formulaic at this point.
It is.
I hate to say.
And I mean, I enjoy all the Redwall books. Like, they are my comfort reads, especially the audiobooks. Like, I will gladly read these. But yeah, this isn't my favorite.
Yeah, I will say, I think also we are a little, because we're reading this right after Mossflower, it's a little much because, since instead of reading this, granted, when this came out, when I first read it, I was like, man, this first portion's going on for a while. I kind of want to know more about Luke, but at least it's entertaining. With this, we just read Mossflower, so we are noticing these inconsistencies a lot more easily, and the comparisons are a lot easier because we just read Mossflower and are like, oh, it's fresh in our minds, and holy cow, we're catching this.
Yeah.
And as much as of an endurance round as Mossflower was, and it was,
yep.
It's arguably one of the better books in the series.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely where Jake started to find his voice, and and it's definitely more it was definitely had more thought poured into kind of the continuity.
Yeah.
Because it was establishing it.
Yeah, the only real problem I had with Mossflower was just the spacing out was a little off. But other than that, it was a really good book.
My God, yes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so they run into Log-a-Log for Mohish Shrew Tribe. I'm going to go ahead and just say, as far as we're concerned, canon is that Big Club probably retired or died, and this is his chosen successor.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we meet the real boss of the Shrews, his wife, Honeysuckle, and she is a treat.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a great person. Oh, no, wait, she doesn't.
Nope.
She's got a great small part in this book.
But you could... I don't want to say she doesn't have a loving marriage with Formo, but you can tell he enjoys the vacation as he goes with Martin's group.
Also,
so, yeah.
Speaking of reusing, the younger shrews don't know what a mole is. We had the exact same thing with the bats in Mossflower.
Yep.
And more singing. Because, of course, there's more singing.
There is a lot of songs in this book. Almost everybody gets one.
And they're really long. Like, the one about Luke was fine because it set that up, but holy cow, there are way too many in this. And I feel like I'm repeating what I said in Ward Brocktree, but this feels...
Did Gonf lose his voice?
Huh?
Because he's supposed to be our songmaster here, and he doesn't really do any.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Gonf was the one doing all the little poems and things in Mossflower, and in this one he doesn't. Huh.
I think he was
the completely sensitive song about being inside of a swan.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not giving that up.
Hey, stop.
Aww.
The dog took exception to that.
Nope, stop. Okay, now she's licking my face. Crazy. Lie down. Down.
Aww.
All right, we're good.
Good pupper.
Introducing for the first time a new guest, Katie's dog.
Yes, Fawn the dog.
So yeah, and then now we've run into the swans.
Yeah.
I would venture these are the same swans. And Martin really should have known better.
Yeah. And the Goshawk comes back for 5 seconds to headbutt the swan.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. The Goshawk is gonna run wild on you.
Swanomania.
Come here. I think that's the first time I've done a WWE not having watched it at all as a child that actually didn't sound terrible.
Yeah, that was good. And he's not redacted anymore, so you can reference him.
Yes, I can.
And Martin's like, I'll never forget what's his name? Krar. And I'm like, yep, good. You could never forget him, so I can. And I actually did forget about him until I looked back at my notes.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going with that joke.
What?
I thought you were going to say something like, well, considering your history of brain damage, you might be surprised.
Nobody
I would have gone with the joke. I'll never forget. Martin, are you okay? What?
Raisins. Oh, and then God, this is so. Then they get sidetracked with otters, and well, at least it's not a repeat of another sequence from Mossflower.
This is a completely separate holt of otters with their own skipper.
Yes.
There's like 2 skippers and a queen in this book. If we get a jack and a 10, we'll have a royal flush.
Well, we didn't mention them, but Lady Amber and the Prime Skipper are still alive back at Redwall.
Yep.
And I would presume the fact that they're staying behind to protect the Abbey since Martin's kind of leaving.
Yeah.
So
I think they were helping to build it, too, because I think Lady Amber was up on the roof or something in the 3rd book doing some building or something. I don't know.
And then,
and so the otters the head of the otters like, hey, you seen another otter around here somewhere? And they're like, no, we haven't. He's like, all right, if you do,
this
tell
is
him.
Skipper.
It's like the most cryptic message of all time, right here.
Yeah, it's like,
This is.
why? Like, what do you mean? Have you, like, why do you ask? Oh, no reason. Just, just wondering. Bye!
I mean, when the last time we saw a pair of otter brothers, it was the Prime Skipper and the Mask, and may the Mask rest in peace. But this is Skipper Tungro, and he runs a Holt, and he had a co-skipper, we're told, named Fulgrim, and this is who they're looking for. And they're like, hey, by the way, Martin, if you see Fulgrim, tell him, as long as he's mended his ways, he can come home.
Yep, and they leave, and Martin's like,
obvious setup.
That was weird, so Log, you know anything about that? And Log's like, I totally do. Let me give you this whole backstory that I've only heard through gossip.
Yeah, it's just funny because he's like, well, I don't know if I should say it, but I'm going to totally say it anyway.
And so basically, Fulgrim, I'm borrowing a very old reference that Jeremy and I would barely know based on our own ages. This is Howland Man Murdoch from the A-Team. Would be my... am I the only one who got that?
I've never watched the A-Team.
I've only watched the movie that came out some years ago, and that's actually really entertaining, but cheesy as hell. So
I think that's what the original show was supposed to be like, so it sounds like they got it right.
Since I have to explain my joke here, Howland Mad Murdoch is one of the four from the original A-Team who is supposed to be kind of on the nuts side. Brilliant, but nuts. And that was my original writing. And what I didn't know is that he is not just a little nuts, he's very nuts. Because when we meet Fulgrim, oh dear.
He's a vampire.
He is definitely one of the... I think he's technically a good guy, but he's a very dark good guy.
Yeah. You can tell that he has a good heart, but they do say, like, he essentially was, like, tortured by sea rats and stuff, and like it sounds like he was a little overly aggressive when he was in his right mind, and getting beaten and covered in scars and losing an eye kind of pushed him a little over the edge. But it shows that, you know, he's not attacking Martin's group or anything, and he does act relatively friendly to them. So he's not a bad guy. He's just very, 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 very troubled.
Yes.
Unless you're one of the two water rats torturing him, then he bites your neck.
Yeah, but they were water rats that were torturing him. It's not like they were good.
I'm okay. I'm not denying the fact that he had the right to fight back. I'm just. It was again one of these moments where I'm sitting down reading this on my Kindle, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a feral kill like this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this was kind of creepy because he's like, nice neck. I think I'll bite it.
Yep.
We learn in this book that Fulgrim hates necks.
It's not only that. It's not only does he kill the rat by breaking his neck with a bite, which is what predators do, and probably what a real life otter would do to a rat. It's a kind of implied, and Martin tries to laugh this off half-heartedly. Oh, he's not going to eat the rat. Yes, he is.
Yep.
And he's like, he's
Martin,
like, need a fire for
you are
cooking.
fooling nobody. Martin is not fooling anybody. We all know. It's kind of implied here that, he's about to eat them.
Well, because Trim's like, he's not going to eat him, is he? And Martin's like, no, he's totally not doing that. Martin, why are you looking back and forth as you say that? No reason. Why are your fingers crossed? No reason.
Yep. Why is your face pale as you're considering the implications of this?
No reason. Yeah, and so they wake up the next morning and, oh, look, the skipper's back, and they got Fulgrim, and all of a sudden Chugger decides to not be completely useless and annoying, and it's like, hey, Fulgrim, I'm gonna help redeem you.
Yes.
I have to say, this part of Chugger befriending Fulgrim is adorable.
It is.
Well, had it not been for Chug, I'm going to vote that I didn't have been opted for that little bit. I'm sitting here and thinking, Martin, this is stupid. You do not want to take a half-feral otter with you to wherever you're going. But Chug saves it from this is the kind of thing you guys want to send him back with his Hulk, because they will take care of him, or to frickin' Redwall.
No.
Because they can at least keep him contained. But the fact that Chug's going to redeem him, okay, fine. I'll look past it. And
the fact that they both, like, when the skipper tries to take him, Fulgrim back home, and Martin's group tries to leave, and Chugger's like, no, Fulgrim's my friend, and Fulgrim's like, no, Chugger's my friend.
And they both start crying, which is kind of pitiful.
Yeah, and now they're best friends forever.
Aww.
They're going to have lockets by the end of the book, aren't they?
Hey,
friendship bracelet.
It is great. It is great to have a friend who beats people up for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Well, because Trent is afraid oh, Chugger might be in danger, and Fulgrim's like, I'm going to keep him safe, and I'm like, yep, don't worry, Trent. I think Chugger's going to be fine with Fulgrim the Impaler around. Okay.
Yes.
You stick with me.
Come with me if you want to live.
It's like being taken in by the Russian mafia or something.
Okay. I was gonna say no. I like just the image of an Arnold playing Fulgrim.
I got this picture of this scarred otter with sunglasses and a leather jacket holding a shotgun.
If it bleeds, I can kill it.
I need your ship, your flint, and your Dead Sea rat.
About that ship, because we get to our fourth vermin group.
Yeah, did they pick the deadliest path of all time? It's the entire force is out to kill them.
This is just a choose your own adventure.
They keep making the wrong choice.
I'm almost surprised that the publishing company here didn't ask, maybe they did, and we'll never know, that they didn't approach Jakes about, if not him, a ghostwriter making a choose-your-own-adventure book out of Redwall.
That could have been really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Animorphs did it.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, that's cool.
I remember.
I think it's Alternatemorphs. I remember listening to an episode or two over on the Morph Club podcast when they covered them, and they had a lot of fun doing it.
That's pretty cool. I remember having a Super Mario Brothers one of those when I was a little kid.
There were a few of the video game style ones, yeah. I had a Zelda one.
Except I was a stupid kid, so I got stuck in one of them because I kept getting stuck in this loop and not choosing the right answer.
Oh no.
I literally got stuck and got frustrated with the book.
Oh, I totally cheated my way through those almost every time.
I did that with Goosebumps because there would be bad endings, and I was like, I don't want a bad ending. I want to know what happened.
I mean, we will never know the truth here, but I can see Jake saying, no, that's a dumb idea, but no, I think that would have actually done pretty well if they had made them.
And so they get to a part. So I mentioned this earlier. They get to a part where they're on a set of rapids and they fall off a waterfall. This happened in Martin the Warrior when they were on their way to Marshank.
Yep.
So
sort of.
Grum fainted at the.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the shrew ships had crashed into each other and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I did get the impression that in Martin the Warrior, Starwort and Marigold were a little bit more in control of what was going on. Mm-hmm. At this point, I think they were just like, oh crap, waterfall. Whoa, we're going down the waterfall.
Hope you like water.
And they're on the beach at this point. They follow the stream. They follow the stream to the ocean. And we get our fourth vermin group. This is another one bordering on silly. The fox. Here we go.
Oh God, yeah. Where again we get Fulgrim hates necks.
Yes.
He comes in
Sholabar.
and punches him and snaps his neck.
I mean, literally, the chapter the artwork we'll go over how anthropomorphic in a bit, but we totally skipped the painted ones. Well, crap. Oh,
we did.
Yeah, but they're maybe on pages for about 2 or 3 pages. We did.
Forgot about them. They did attack them, and that was when Fulgrim was like, "I'm gonna keep Chugger safe."
Oh yeah.
I think
okay.
that's for that.
They painted one.
Sped through and tried to get that. They tried to speed through, and then they got stuck. And then Martin gets in the water and hacks apart another dam, then they get out of there. All right, we've covered the painted ones.
Let me put 2 comments towards that,
Sure.
and then I can move on. First, these painted ones actually speak. Like,
Yes.
From what I was reading, they have a language compared to the Manameo ones, which didn't.
And Long Patrol,
They have their
do
language,
too.
I just couldn't understand it. And they're in the Long Patrol?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And second, Martin manages to scare them off by giving the Badger Lord / Long Patrol battle cry of Eulalia.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking, like, oh yeah, Salamander's still a thing. So either the painted ones know that Badger war cry and Salamander's will occasionally police them, or he just gave them some. Martin just did the battle cry, and they got scared for some random reason.
Loud noises! Ah!
Considering it was fire that distracted the Manameo ones, yeah. But, is Sunflash in residence by this point?
I would think...
No.
Well, maybe not. Because he's... And that's also another inconsistency, because at this point he would be Swart's slave, right?
Huh.
Maybe?
So.
Yeah, I guess so.
And that means that he and Swart age super slow, because at this point, the whole events of Outcast of Revel don't happen until Martin and Gonf and everyone have died.
Huh. Yeah, good point. I guess he's not in residence, and it's just the Long Patrol operating without a Badger Lord.
There should be a section of this podcast called Katie Nitpicks Everything.
We all do. That's what makes
We've
it
kind
fun.
of been doing that. Considering how many inconsistencies we've been pointing out, I think we've all been nitpicking the hell out of this book.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what criticism is fun to do on the internet.
Well, that's what the
Nobody
internet
can
is
hit
for,
us.
nitpicking everything.
Yes.
And then, they make it to the ocean, and then, Shalobar. Okay, that is a stupid name. I'm just going to say it's a stupid name.
Shalabar.
I mean, I'm sorry, but when Chickenhound picks out a much better name for himself, I don't care if your mother gave it to you, dude. I think you can pick out a better name that's going to be a little more intimidating.
Well, to be fair, in book 2, there's a Captain Chop Snout, you know?
Yeah.
Whose first
Yeah,
name
there
is
is.
Fox. Fox.
Foxes get the worst names. Fargle or Fraggle, Chickenhound, whatever the heck this loser's name is.
Shalobar.
Kangaroo.
That.
Kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
Yeah. So Shalobar decides to pick on them, and either the Long Patrol is not up to full ranks yet, because they're the ones that patrol the coast. So yeah, you're a liar, Shalobar, because you don't own these coasts. The Long Patrol should, and now you're dead.
And look, you got punched once, and now your neck is broken. Have fun with that.
Yes.
And so they steal the Sea Rat's ship.
The boat.
And why does Fermo lick the boat's mast?
I don't
You
know.
know.
That,
Before you, and you got to wonder about the rats left behind now on the beach. Like, well, who's going to sign this week's paycheck?
Ashleg's like,
Oh.
not my problem.
Yeah, well, we'll call our union rep.
Ashleg, not it.
I can imagine by this point, if Ashleg's still alive, he's retired on a beach somewhere drinking some fruity drink.
Yeah.
And he'll never have to worry about Sarminia ever again.
Yay.
Except in fan fiction.
We worry about everything in fan fiction.
Yes.
So yeah, yes, Fermo is licking the mast.
Why? I'm like, okay, you're checking everything, and all of a sudden he just licks the mast, and I'm like, what?
Sigmund Freud would have a lot to say about that.
Is that a sailor thing?
I hope so.
I'm going to Google it.
It has a lot to do with semen.
Oh my goodness, stop!
I literally turned on my webcam so these people can see how hard I'm having to hold back a bad joke or laughter.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Well, this is a PG podcast, and hopefully people won't know what we're talking about.
Okay, my first Google result was, why is my dog constantly licking? So I don't know why that
Oh, God. Oh, God,
Right.
wait, licking the... I probably should not have phrased it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Papa Abbott card.
Let's moving on.
Wait, because actually...
No, I typed in licking the mast, and I got really, really non-PG results.
Papa Abbott card.
Oh.
We're moving on.
Oh.
I don't delete
And,
this section. Alright.
so they
found-
find crab, say it with me, just like in Mossflower.
just like in Mossflower.
Just like in Mossflower.
And,
Gonf gets rid of the crab, not by dancing with it this time, but by making them hold burning sticks that burn them until they run into the water so they don't burn to death.
Which makes me wonder, did he find other crabs to experiment on the best way to get rid of them? Or was he just thinking about this constantly, like, in the intervening years between his last encounter with crabs? Like, okay, how can I make this look cooler?
or Goff has become especially bitter for some reason and wants to make them suffer.
Yes.
Die, crabs.
I hate crab. Well, because Columbine got jealous of him dancing with the other ones, so he wanted to find a different way to get rid of them.
Perhaps. Yeah.
And then we get supposed villains, but oh no, they're actually just hedgehogs in disguise.
Yeah. The last little tribe we're going to run into on the hero side, and it's Dune Spike and his tribe. And he likes to wrestle.
And then we get 2 pages of Martin practicing dentistry.
Yes.
Amateur dentist.
Yep.
And on top of everything else he does.
Yeah, though I'm going to have to say, Martin, you're not doing the right job. If you're going to be a dentist, you have to make him be in more pain when you're done, not less.
Nice.
Jeez.
Well, we're going to find out Mariel later in I think it's Bellmaker. She becomes an amateur dentist in the same way.
Okay.
Same way, except it's against a vermin, and she smacks him across the face with her rope.
Yes.
Yep.
So.
And he didn't want to lose those teeth.
He did not.
No.
And I find it a little bit annoying how these hedgehogs treat Shrimp. They're like, oh, look at how, like, she's such a pretty little thing, and they're kind of condescending, and I don't know, it's just annoying.
Yeah, it was.
So, in other words, this is the same with, what's her name? The rabbit, the hare. I'm sorry.
In Lord Brocktree?
The hare from Lord Brocktree.
Dottie?
Yeah.
Dottie.
Thank you.
Yeah, except she at least, like, asserted herself and everything, whereas Trimp is just... I was waiting for her to say something, and she doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and which makes me wonder, does Jakes think this is okay? Because, I mean, I didn't find it horribly offensive. It was just kind of annoying. Because, like...
Hashtag toxic hedgehog.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't too bad until Dune Spike does it. I'm like, dude, you're like 3 times her age. Please stop.
Yeah.
This is really getting creepy now.
It's just like strangers calling you sweetheart or honey or whatever. If I just need to ask for directions, like, hey, do you know where the nearest whatever is? And they're like, oh, sure, honey, let me take you there, sweetie. It's like, no, I did not ask for that. I just wanted directions.
Katie would hate the South.
Yeah, probably.
they do that a lot in the South. I have to, for my job, I've called hotels in the South, and they're like, sure, honey, 1 second. So they are very
patronize me,
very
Janice.
friendly, though.
Yes, and it's more annoying if it's, I don't know, it's more annoying if you feel like they're being condescending to you because you have a disability, which I've kind of learned to read from people if that's the case. If they're just being friendly, it's a different thing, but they're like, oh, you're so precious, you're walking a straight line all by yourself.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah. Oh, you're so amazing. It's like, no, I'm not. Go away.
That's when you stick your dog on them.
Yeah. Yes, my vicious golden retriever. Anyway.
So yeah, Martin wrestles Dune Spike, and I'm sitting here thinking that my mind ran to the Goron wrestling.
No, he doesn't actually wrestle Dune Spike, does he? Like, Dune Spike wrestles someone else, and Martin was like, let me do another sword trick.
Yeah. And another sword trick he does before more singing. Just keep singing, just keep singing.
You can understand, I'm not... Jake's obviously writes for writing songs, and I'm not going to knock him for that, and it's obviously easy filler to write, except for the whole rhyming thing. But, yeah, when you're displacing Gomph as the Master Songmaster, this seems a little off.
Yeah. And then towards the end of this portion, though, Martin all of a sudden, like, Dune Spike tells him about, like, oh, there was another mouse like you and a squirrel that, a black squirrel that reminded me of your friend Fulgrim here, except she didn't bite people's necks off, literally. And,
she did bite people's ears off.
This is true. And Martin all of a sudden realizes how much filler we've been dealt with and gets really sad again. And actually works to get the story back on track. Because he's like, hey, let's move. And they're like, well, let's take our time. He's like, no, this was the whole point of coming out here, you idiots. Good Lord.
And then they finally make it to the northern caves. And they're like, hey, let's let Martin go up alone. Look, I know Martin can take care of himself, except when he's captured by overwhelming numbers.
Yeah.
A lot. But I'm going to say, no, you really should be walking with him.
Yeah, considering all the danger that they've encountered so far, maybe he shouldn't do this alone.
Yeah, if they hadn't been attacked like every 5 seconds in this book, it would have been like, all right, that's fine. But not to mention the fact that Martin did say, like, well, my home was constantly under attack by sea rats.
Yeah.
Like, there is precedent for this.
And I would say Martin should know better, but based on what we know about his memory, I'm not sure that he does.
No, he doesn't.
But conveniently, he does not encounter any danger.
Yeah.
No, he finds
Old Man Berg.
Good news, Abby Dwellers! Yeah, I've definitely ran to Professor Farnsworth for this.
And yeah, it's kind of funny because he's like, you remember me, don't you? And Martin's like, yes, totally remember you. Yep.
You.
This part was heartbreaking for me. Like, where Martin finds his home, doesn't really remember it, and finds old Verg, who is so happy to see him, and he has to pretend like he knows him. Mm-hmm. And I wish this book had more moments like this.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly got a little teared up at this part.
And then he outright admits, "Oh yeah, you totally look like Luke, but you have your mother's eyes, Harry Potter." Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna bring that up too.
Well, and I can generally make that joke because the first Harry Potter book came out in '97, and this came out in '99.
Yeah.
God, this was '99.
Yep.
Oh my God, I feel old. This was.
So nearly 20 years.
Oh my God, yeah. Holy cow. This was 19 years ago. Wow. I was thinking back to like when I read this, and I was like, I swear I read this while I was already in college, or like this must have been one of those. Like, no, 99. No, I was just starting high school.
Yep. Jeremy and I are the same age. I was in my freshman year of high school in the fall of '99.
I was in 6th grade. Holy crap.
I was 4.
Yeah, I was going to say, Drew was like a hatchling.
I'm a young man.
He was a dibbin.
I was a young boy.
When Drew was a dibbin.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. My mom loves to tell those stories.
So, yeah, and then Verg does take the fact that it's not Luke well. He's like, oh, you're Martin?
Cool.
Well, sorry you're not. I mean, yeah, I haven't seen you in forever either, so...
How's it going?
You had diaper rash last time I saw you.
Was he really expecting to see Luke again? Because he saw him, I guess, I can't say spoilers for the ending of Book 2 because we already did Book 2. So he saw him go down, like, didn't he see what happened with the ship and, like, they went down into the sea and connected to the wheel. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
What? Yeah, why was he hanging out there? Because he said he did say he was waiting for something, but who was he waiting for?
Well,
Good
I mean,
job.
arguably he could be hoping that another one of the survivors from the tribe who we don't know what happened to them comes back.
Oh, I thought of something.
Hmm.
Maybe the reason that Bo was killed, well, they thought that Bo was killed and then he came back, could be that Verg was hoping that Luke did the same thing.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. Though, granted, in I don't want to skip ahead, but the very first line in book 3 is Martin going, "So my father died fighting sea rats," and they're all like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So maybe, you know what? I have a theory. Verg heard tales of this crazy stoat wearing a pair of clogs and just had to wait for him and see him.
Yep, there you go. We solved it.
But yeah, we get Verg. Basically, Martin walks out with Verg, and it's like, "Hey guys, this is one of my dad's friends," and Verg outright mentions, "Oh, there was old Cardo. He could burn a salad." I'm like,
and Martin's like, "Yeah, I totally remember him, that goofball." And he's like awkwardly smiling, like, "Oh God." And Verg directs them to where he's been living. And I have a question: if this entire crew of Gossam and Martin's group could barely reach it, how the heck was he supposed to get back there?
I don't know. Maybe he just did it very slowly.
Yeah,
Oh,
they go through a part where Log-a-Log flat out says, "I thought we were going to die."
Yeah, maybe it's like this whole season journey for him. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible.
and Verg. How does Verg make it back between? Yeah, spoilers here. Between the Arfship and the coast, does he have his own boat?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like he has a boat there or anything. All right, well, granted, when he gets back, Bo is like, "Dude, where have you been?
Yeah.
I thought you were never coming back."
And they still argue just
yeah.
like they did in book 2.
Yay! And
With Bo, who can't even remember his complete name anymore.
Yes.
and Berg tells him, it's like, "That's your silly long name."
My what?
And I like it too where they see Fulgrim and Bo's like, "I don't know, we could frickin' see a shark or two for your friend Fulgrim here."
Yeah.
But, okay, yeah, so Verg tells, "Hey, set sail in that direction about 2 days, and then there's a ship in the middle of the air." Huh.
That's normal.
There's something you don't see every day.
And
why are they living in a ship when we clearly see they can get back to land by some unknown means?
sounds like they wanted to live there.
Yeah, maybe it had helped them feel closer to Luke and all the people that they lost. Although you'd think, by the same token, it'd be rather traumatizing as well.
This is true. Yeah, and then Verg kind of spoils the end of book 2 because they ask him, "So how did this happen?" And he tells them how it happened.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait, did you just spoil the end of the second part of the book?
Speaking of books, here's a book we wrote about your dad. We were going to name it There and Back Again, but the friggin' hobbits sued us.
Oh, man.
Those hobbits.
We were going to name it Cats in the Cradle, but then Harry Chapin was going to sue us too.
But yeah, they were like, "Okay, we're going to tell you how your dad died." He's dead?
Spoilers!
Luke dies?
I was actually going to make...
We're never going to get around
Bunch
that
of
joke,
memes.
are we?
I was actually going to make the joke earlier that Verg was definitely not waiting for Rose to show up.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, dude.
Gonna need some ointment for that burn.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the end of book 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we haven't really learned anything new here.
Yeah, we learned that
the
Mossflower is a
story.
death trap and you should never leave Redwall.
Yes. And we learned that otters be crazy.
Yep.
Very. That somehow painted ones are there and, they're gone.
Very forgettable.
Yeah. And crabs now can dance with fire. So, yeah.
Yes.
Fire bad. And Flitchi are baby eaters. That's dark.
And nobody misses them.
One eye, one horn, flying purple baby eaters.
And, so it's all set up for us to learn how Luke was a terrible parent, but we already know that. So.
Yep. I refer you back to episode 10.
Indeed. It's been a while. So, looking ahead here, book 3 is kind of on the line. It's shorter than the Mossflower book 3.
Jeez.
Wow. Okay, then. So they don't have to be next. So, what else? How anthropomorphic are they? How anthropomorphic are they? Yeah, pretty very.
Pretty very.
Chapter But yes, they are anthropomorphic because pretty much all the individual chapter art, the cover art is pretty darn clear about this. I didn't really pick up on anything that would suggest more the feral side here.
I would like to thank the artist for this book for not doing anything with Fulgrim biting the rat's head off.
No.
Your copy doesn't have that?
No, it also does not have a picture of Log-a-Log licking the mast.
Drew ended up with the version that the publishers, the editors looked at are like, we can't give this to children.
But it's signed.
You get the unreleased version.
Yes.
The original.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that yours is signed, dude. That's awesome.
I know. I was just flipping through and I was like, oh, somebody scribbled in this. Oh, Brian Jake scribbled in this. You know, as one does.
It happens.
Yeah. That's Legend of Luke Book 1.
Yay!
I'm making sure I didn't forget anything there, but yeah, I think we covered all of our major notes.
Yep.
Series lore, yeah, we already mentioned the connections to other books because, well, it's there.
Yeah.
So, even the swans.
Even the swans.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, you can find us on the internet at
Do you want me to?
Recorder on the Wall. Or do you want
I can
to
do it.
I mean, I'm not saying no.
I can do it.
Just don't do it in one breath.
Huh?
Just don't do it in one
But
breath.
it's fun to do that.
All right, go, Jeremy, go.
I'm not going to say no.
You can find us at recorderonthewall.com. We're on iTunes and Google Play Podcast. We are on the Eulalia subreddit as well as on the official Mossflower forums. We have a Twitter account at ROTWpod and ROTWpod@gmail.com for all your email needs.
You did it! Yay!
Either that or you can lick a mirror.
What?
Wait, what?
That's also how you contact us. Lick a mirror in shout log-a-log 3 times.
3 times, I was going to say that.
So you just go lugga 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 lugga.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll go with that. All right. Well, then I'm Pete.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Katie.
I'm Drew.
We just went in the opposite order of how we introduced ourselves.
We are geniuses.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Folks.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.